day one, a violent vertical ledge setter.
I see some ass off the edge. Get that mic up and put your shoulder on somebody. Dig, drop. You're finished. Hey, first down. This is weird. It works than that side.
Yo, what's up? Let me see here. We're going to go with the, I don't like it. Let me see here. What's going on, everybody? Some reason it's not recognizing my new camera. So we got the old Yucky. Old Yucky making a comeback. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the show. I am Green Bean. This is the After Hours Jets Fest, where we talk about Steve Wilks and only Steve Wilks. From time to time, we bring up Alan Lazard, but it's the Steve Wilks, Alan Lazard show every week as the fans want. We only want to talk about Steve Wilks and Alan Lazard. So that's what you get. That's what you get. Two people that have recently been jettisoned. You like what I did there? The New York Jettisons. That's us. Look at this. That's right, Deborah. Deborah, I can't get enough of you guys. That's the way it is, man. We got to hang out together because, man, oh, man, out there in the rest of the world, it's rough. So, yeah, man, look. First thing we do here is we talk about milkdom. Mwah, mwah, mwah. If you'd be so kind, we got, it just jumped up. It was 22. Now it's 47 on YouTube as they roll in for the late night stream. If you go ahead and hit those there, the like button, the milk thumbs, as we call them, that'd be great. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you're new here, that's what we do. We hit the subscribe button and we get Green Bean up to 15,000 subscribers. That'd be great. And I appreciate you guys. It was my birthday yesterday, so we had a little fun there, and I got a nice little boost. And I hope that continues. And we got a few more on X. Hello, Xers. Sexer Xers. There you go, man. But what the hell is going on with these Jets? We see, it's a funny thing. It happens every year. Last year, we were hearing this narrative. The Jets and this person mutually agreed to part ways. Remember that? It went on with a few guys last year, and it's like this year, you know, here we are. We start the season. You got guys like Sauce Gardner and Andre Sisco in your defensive backfield. You're like, all right, man. You got Brandon Stevens, Andre Sisco, Tony Adams, right? Sauce Gardner, and all these Michael Carter at the nickel. And then, you know, as is the appropriate, every fucking year, this is what happens. By the end of the year, you got guys running around. You have no idea who they are. Same thing happens on the offensive side of the ball, particularly with the wide receiver position. This year, at least we know who they are, and they were brought in. It's a purposeful shift from Josh Reynolds and Tyler Johnson, the big free agent acquisitions from last offseason. You know, they're just sitting on the bench smoking doobs, and we got guys like Isaiah Williams and A.D. Mitchell and John Mechie running around because we want to see what's going on with those fellas. You know, we got them both, well, two of those guys in trades this year. All three of them in Isaiah Williams, John Mechie, and A.D. Mitchell. Not one of them was on the opening day roster. Isn't that fun? Isn't it? Come on. Dude, I got this Ladybug. Check this out. This is the third time that fucking Ladybug right there. Can you see him? Look at that guy right there. Right over there. See him? The third time I found him on my Mountain Dew. It's the third time. Because what happens is, you guys know, if you don't know, if you're new here, I'll tell you. My studio. Yeah, thank you, Dom. Yeah, you must have missed it in the beginning. I talked about it. You know what look, I'm going to tell you guys a story. First, I'm going to tell you, Dom, I do appreciate it. It's frustrating on my end. I'm trying to be like not frustrating. I appreciate it's like when guys tell me my mic is off. I need to know. But it's like on my end, I'm incredibly frustrated with some things. So, but I'll tell you. So my studio is out in the middle of the yard. So I'm about maybe, let's say 50, 60 yards from my house, my studio. So I'm way out across the yard. I got 6 acres. So my house, my studio is out it's on the far end of my backyard before you get to my woods. So I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, and I built this studio, and I have heat and everything, although there's a draft and all that. But so because it's outside, what happens in the winter is these ladybugs come in to like garages and all that kind of stuff, and they commune, they gather up into these little communities in the corners of garages and sheds and stuff like that. So you can see a couple. Can you see them? So what happens is they come in here, but then it gets warm in here, and they think it's like time to get up. They're hibernating, and they think it's time to get up and go do stuff, but it's not. So they wake up and like, oh shit, it's December 15th, And since I'm awake, I might as well drink that Mountain Dew. So that's what happens. But the third time, I've taken that guy off, and I don't kill him. I just put him, I let them live. I don't like when I get the bunch of ladybugs in the corner, what am I going to do? Kill them? Get out of my house. Like they're ladybugs. They eat aphids and all that shit. I like them for the garden. I throw them in the garden in the spring. And they help me with my aphid problem. And my snail problem, all that shit. So that's what goes on. So that's what's happening. So I got a ladybug trying to steal my Mountain Dew, everybody. But to Dom's point, Dom's talking about the camera. So I'm stuck with this camera. This is what's going on. So for whatever reason, I don't know why, I don't know how, and I don't know the solution. YouTube, my YouTube account, has put me on restricted mode. Now it says my administrator has chosen restricted mode. Please contact your administrator. So the good news with that is I am the administrator. So I contacted myself. I called myself earlier, and I was able to get back to myself later in the day. I called me back, and I said, what's going on? I said, hey, man, what's going on with the restricted mode? And I said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it because I don't even want it on restricted mode. So I look and I do the thing that it's just a toggle, and it will not untoggle. So what suggested to me through the YouTube help and Google help and all that shit, they said, clear your cache, which I hate doing. But I did it. So I cleared my cache, Dom. And what it did was it took out all my passwords, which I know. And then for StreamYard, I guess I just figured this out because I just started the stream, is that it's not recognizing the camera that I wanted to recognize. So I don't know. I got to reestablish the friggin' there it is. It's back. Yay, Dom. There it is. So it just recognized it. It just went boop. I was like, all right. So you got to like reestablish everything. I'm signing on shit. It's like, who are you? I'm like, you don't remember me? I'm here every day. They're like, no, I don't know you. So now I have to like accept cookies, and I got to start over here. So Rusty Spooner's talking about Pavia. I'm real curious to see what Dom sees about Pavia. Now, Julio Guzman is not into Pavia. So you see how it goes around here. We can't. There's never, ever been a thing. There's never been a thing. Dom will tell you. There's never been a single thing that has happened in New York Jets land that every single New York Jet was happy about. Not one. If we get a touchdown, it's still, something's still wrong with it. Something still happened. Well, he got lucky on that play if the defensive back didn't fall down. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. So Rusty Spooner says, I like Pavia. Julio Guzman says, Pavia sucks. It's just it. Pavia Mansell. That's what he says. So Paul O'Brien says the ladybug's thirsty. Rusty says if you eat a ladybug, I heard it's good luck. Well, I heard that too. So I ate thousands of them. And now I got restricted mode on YouTube. So, you know what's funny? I can't even watch my own channel. You want to see what it looks like? Here, I'll show you. So look, it's like I signed on to Green Bean's channel in 2021. This is, swear to God, that's what it looks like. Look at all the old thumbnail. Watch this. So this is all I get. This is me signing on to my own channel. So this one I made the other day. I was at the lights last night. I went and did this light thing with my wife and my daughter, and I met a Jets fan. I'm like, I never meet Jets fans in Virginia. I was in the most inconspicuous place in the world, but everything else, it's all this old shit. Look at this, top billing. Remember this?
What's happening, Jets fans?
Look at that beard.
Green Bean, and I'm going to do something a little bit interesting today, a little different.
Look,
you got to think about this from this particular standpoint. If you're talking about LaFleur's offense, so you're going to get a lot
talking about LaFleur's offense, for God's sakes. Oh no, we can't do that tonight. No way. So I'm not even allowed on my own channel because of the restrictions. You know, whenever I make a video, I tend to drop an F-bomb here or there. So I always tell YouTube that I'm doing that. So I go, yeah, there's some mild profanity in there. You know? So YouTube, now that I'm a child, that's how it looks at me. I'm an 8-year-old floating around YouTube. It says, no. You can't watch that guy. So, all right. So the big news of the day. Thank you, Cadoza. I appreciate you, my friend. Truly. I appreciate all you guys. Really. You guys are the best. Rusty says, hit the milk dumbs, you bunch of spatchcocks. That's right, man. Bunch of spatchcocking in here. It's crazy, man. So we fired Steve Wilks yesterday. Now, we talked about it ad nauseum, but we've also heard some things today about it that are kind of interesting, man. And if you look at it through the appropriate lens, well, not appropriate, but if you look at it through the specific angle, it could be very, very bad for this regime, which is that Aaron Glenn and his chosen staff, right? Steve Wilks was brought in here to be the experience in the room. Everybody else is a noob, right? Our offensive coordinator, first time doing that. Head coach, first time doing that. Quarterback coach, he's only been doing that a minute. You know, so, you know, the defensive back coach was doing that a little bit. Chris Harris, who's now our defensive coordinator, interim style. But Steve Wilks was brought in here to be the old head, the wisdom, the wizened sage to help Aaron Glenn kind of, fold into this new role smoothly. That's what it was all about. And to fire him before the end of the season could be considered a bad look, right? It could be a bad look because he was supposed to be the equalizer, the leavener. He was the lecithin of the staff. He was the lecithin, Rusty. So we fire him. But so we're hearing things about it which add to that narrative that it's a negative thing, that the defensive players were calling him out, that the defensive players find this system to be much more difficult than it needs to be. You know, look, I watched the Frankie from Flatbush video earlier, and he had a really great point. Just the way that he said it was this. If your defensive players are talking about how difficult the scheme is, there's one of two things going on, right? One is your defensive scheme is too difficult. It's unnecessarily complex, difficult for difficult's sake. That's one thing. Or you have a bunch of morons on the team, a bunch of cavemen that can't figure it out, even though your system's fine. Like, dude, it's only 2 + 2. What the fuck's your problem? I don't know. I can't do that. Okay. So when it becomes the coach's fault is when he can't figure out that I'm trying to give these guys this task and they can't do it. He can't figure out the task to give them that they can do, right? That's the problem. Like, look, dude, I understand that every coach has their preferences. That's fine. I prefer, big linebackers, and I prefer to run a scheme predicated on the 4 down linemen generating pressure. Fine. That's great. But when your 4 down linemen don't, you got to figure out a way to generate it elsewhere, because pressure is key. It's king, which is why edge rusher is looked at as a premium position and why Mark Gastineau should be in the Hall of Fame. But I digress. So if you can't figure that out, so you like those guys, but all you have year one is a bunch of 210, 215-pound linebackers, and you're not generating pressure with the 4 down linemen, it is your job to go, okay, back to the drawing board. They can't do what I need them to do. I'm getting picked apart all over the place. Every game I play, the defense is scoring or the offense is scoring, 28 plus points. So, and let's take a look. So, I'll tell you how many what happened this year. So, game 1, the Steelers scored 34. Game 2, the Bills scored 30. Game 3, the Buccaneers scored 29. Game 4, the Dolphins scored 27. Game 5, the Cowboys scored 37. The Broncos, good job, boys. We held them to 13. But every other game is just about 30 points, guys. 34, 30, 29, 27, 37, right? That's not good. This is where you should be figuring it out. 13, then you hold the Panthers to 13. Good. Okay, we're figuring it out. Then you hold the Bengals score 38. Now, the good news in that one is the offense scored 39. So wonderful. But then the Browns come in, they score 20. Then the Patriots score 27. The Ravens, a little bit better, 23. The Falcons, 24. But, and then the Dolphins, 34. And the fucking Jaguars, 48. So, dude, this is not, at some point, you can say we don't have the horses. You can say all kinds of stuff. But we're watching a defense that looks confused. And we're in week 16. So you can have your preferences for player styles and types to do what you got to do. But if you're a coach that has to wait 3 years until you get your guys before you can be competent, get out of my house. Now, if you thought that he could, okay, great. And then he can't, and you make the firing, okay. But let's finish this. So if you're looking at it like a bad thing, it's like, well, we've had just about 30 points scored on us almost every game. And you fire the guy mid first season 1, Aaron Glenn sucks. You know what I mean? Like, he's running around. He can't fucking evaluate coaches. He doesn't even know. He's bringing guys in here that are garbage, and the team sucks, and everybody hates him, and there's mutiny. Or you can take the other lens, and this is where we disagree on stuff. You can go, well, Aaron Glenn, you hired a rookie. You gave him a massive task. Again, like we talked about it in the Talking Jet stream. This is not the Bears. You know, Ben Johnson walked in there. He had Caleb Williams, Romo Dunze, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. He had to get in a couple offensive linemen. He got Loveland to, you know what I mean? He rounded out the offense. That's what he did. He already had it. You look at the Patriots, they had Drake May. So they had a quarterback, and Vrabel was going to do whatever Vrabel did up there anyway, but they had the quarterback. You look at Liam Cohen down there in Jacksonville, same thing. He landed there. There's a quarterback. There's a team that they've built that's underperforming under the coach. That's what the Jets were in 96. When Bill Parcells came here, sure, he brought a few players with him, but the offense had at least a competent quarterback. He was no world beater, but Neil O'Donnell, he's been to the Super Bowl the year before, 2 years before Parcells. We had Jeff Graham, who was a very good wide receiver. You had Keyshawn Johnson. You had Wayne Corbett. You had 1,000-yard rusher Adrian Morrell. You had Richie Anderson. You know what I mean? Like, Parcells came here and said, who can't get this team to 9 wins? What's your problem? This is a whole different thing. What Aaron Glenn had to do, his first task was, hey, figure out Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what to do with him. You can keep him, but then we got to pay $63 million. You can cut him. You got to pay $40 million. You know what I mean? $35 million. It's like, whatever. It's a whole different thing. But if you're going to hire a rookie coach and year one, he brings a guy with him that's supposed to be the wizened old sage and he fires him, that's from the other lens, that's a fucking huge positive. Aaron Glenn saying, no, man, it's taken me time. I'm learning this position. I'm figuring out how to be the final say. It's just a different skill set being the final say. There's a lot more pressure with that. So he fires them, and that's accountability. He traded all pros, him and Mooj. You thought those guys were untouchable, not here. He traded other guys with big contracts, Michael Carter. You cut guys that have been here for 3 years. And then you fired a former head coach, but your defensive coordinator, which is what happened offensively in Detroit. I wonder how many Ladybugs I'm drinking. So the other thing is you got Alan Lazard. Alan Lazard was the second piece of the Aaron Rodgers era. The first piece was Paul Hackett's son. Then you had Alan Lazard. $11 million a year, 4 years. Everybody was happy. Yay! Got a big, strong wide receiver. He's undrafted free agent. Aaron Rodgers made him into somebody, and we're going to bring Aaron Rodgers back. Then you go get Randall Cobb, and the whole thing. So he's doing nothing. He had that big circus catch that gave us a first down in the Falcons game, I think it was, right? Other than that, he had the touchdown earlier in the year. But it's like he's done nothing. So whatever. Now, Jets fans, I already heard somebody say, watch Alan Lazard go with Aaron Rodgers. But dude, so be it. He's doing nothing. He's done nothing here the entire time. He's had a handful of good plays the entire time he's been here. This is his third year. He's had a handful of good plays. He's had an equal amount of drops, if not exactly the same. But he's had enough drops that it's a problem. 17% drop rate. It's fucking ridiculous. So he says, hey, I'd like to be traded. It worked for Quinn. And they said, yeah, get the fuck out of here. What do we want from you? Or I'd like to be cut. Yeah, no problem. Beat it. Your wish is our command. We traded for 2 wide receivers and brought in another one. So, I mean, clearly you're not important to us. He was gone next year anyway, so whatever. Get rid of him. I could care less. He could go somewhere and be great. It doesn't matter, man. He is a drop machine. He does have the ability to make some circus catches, and he's a decent blocker and all that stuff. I don't care. Just go. He's part of the old guard. Go. He's a quitter. He quit on the team in 2023 with Zach. Remember? He quit. Salah benched him. The one guy he benched, not named Corley or Mims. Hamza checking in. What up? We have no interceptions. Never done that before. Yeah. Well, we still got 3 games, man, and we shifted the defensive coordinator. Maybe, look, we just elevated a defensive backs coach to the defensive coordinator. So maybe now he's going to go, this is all we had to do to get interceptions. Who knows? Maybe we get 5 this week and blow the tank to beat the Saints because all of a sudden we're got a season's worth of interceptions in fucking one game. It's crazy though, JJ. I mean, it really is. What can you even say about it? You know? Real quick, Infred, why wouldn't he, if we got Mendoza, why wouldn't he give us 8 wins? Why not? This is the thing. I was just talking to somebody about it in the previous chat. Like when we say, I think we should build the team before we get a quarterback. Like what's left to build on the offense? Seriously. If you re-sign Breece Hall, right? He's ours. You can negotiate with him. But let's say we do. You re-sign Breece Hall. You go into the offseason with $100+ million for free agency and our own contracts. 10 of it's for the draft or 12, whatever. Maybe more because we have more picks. But whatever. You got 2 firsts, 2 seconds. What's left to build? You got the offensive line, so you got to figure out 1 guard position. You got to make a decision on AVT. Great, I'll make it. He's cut. Let him go. Resign Simpson. The offensive line's done. I'll use a 4th on a guard. No problem. Done. My running back room is done. I got wide receiver 1, wide receiver 3, potential slot receiver. If not, I got wide receiver 5 for 4 and 5. Isaiah Williams is a damn good kick returner, punt returner, and he can play wide receiver 5, no problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Mendoza. I'm going to draft a fucking wide receiver to play wide receiver 2, somebody up top, first 2 rounds. What's left to build? What are we waiting for to bring a quarterback in? You know what I mean? So I disagree with the Infrared. And you use a lot of the rest of the draft. You get a guard, you get a defensive tackle, you get some linebackers, and you get a linebacker in the draft, linebacker in free agency. Sherwood's still here, so you got your fucking 4-3. You got Briggs, you got JJ, you got McDonald. You push him back, you get you know what I mean? Like you just, the defense is going to be fixed in 1 year. But as far as winning 8 games, shit, we haven't seen that in a minute. So I'll take it. I think he would, though. I think he would. E-Boogie.
That takes balls. Eric Glenn's got balls.
That's right. E-Boogie. There it is. Hamza checking back in. Trading all pros is risky business. I hope it works out. Yeah. I agree with you. But let's include the entire story. Like, again, it's like looking at a stat line at the end of the game you didn't watch. You watch a game and you go, oh, that guy must have played really well. And everybody that watch it goes, oh, my God. It's fucking terrible. Yeah, he got 300 yards, but Jesus. It was all, It was all in the fourth quarter when we were down 30 points, that kind of whatever. So you need the whole story. You need context. One All-Pro hasn't been an All-Pro in 3 years. Quinnen. Still great, and I love Quinnen. But he was asking for a trade because he didn't want to be a part of a third rebuild for the same team. Right? He didn't want to do it. So he's playing at 75% because he's done. He's tired. He's not giving. So you have him an All-Pro title, and he's still a good player, but he's giving you 75%. He had no sacks when he maybe won. I think it was week 1. So that's one. So he's not he's an All-Pro, yes, but he's not an All-Pro for us. So you can just wait that out. Let me tell you what was going to happen at the end of the year. He was going to hold out for a contract extension or to be traded, one or the other. It was going to be a big to-do. So it's not as risky now. It actually makes sense because you were able to get ahead of something. Like you notice that there are other teams that get ahead of players at the end of their career. There are other teams that cut players and let players walk, and there are other teams that frantically sign aging vets. We are the latter through our history. Very rarely do those aging vets come here and revitalize their career or give us anything worth their contract. Tremaine Johnson comes to mind. The Rams franchised him 3 times. 3 times. Or maybe it was twice, but either way, it was multiple times. Which tells you they wanted to keep him, but they had a sneaking suspicion after this, he's declining. After this year, we don't want to commit. So they franchised him twice. Then they let him go. McCagnon gives him just a monster contract, and he sucked. He was done. He had a couple okay games. By and large, he was done. And we do that shit all the time. I just saw something, the stat, and I was at the game, so I remember it well. I just saw it. 20 years ago today, Art Monk broke the consecutive catch record for the New York Jets. He was a Redskin. He came to the Jets for 1 year, happened to break the record, retired. He re-signed with the Redskins, retired as a Redskin, and it's a blip on the radar. Art Monk was a Jet, one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. Ed Reed was a Jet for 5 minutes. Had like 3 picks, too. It's crazy. But you know what I mean? So it's not as risky. And then Sauce Gardner's risky, sure. But again, this is what I say, man. And I say it all the time. I loved Sauce. Make no mistake about it. And I was one who defended Sauce. But here's the truth. The truth is that when you are an All-Pro and you are the guy getting the highest paid at your position in the NFL, that comes with more than just doing your job. He spoke volumes after week 1. Volumes in his post-game interview. He said, my job is to cover 10. And I think his number's 10. DK Metcalf. I was asked to do him, and he had like 2 catches. So he went, my job was to cover him. That's when you are the highest paid at your position in the NFL and you're the big name on a team. I'm sorry to tell you, that comes with more than just doing your job. It does. Now, if you have a whole team of that shit and you're a great organization, maybe you can get away. But when you're the Jets and you're willing to keep a guy and pay him that kind of fucking money, and put him out front as the face of your organization, he's got to be a leader of men. He's got to like inspire. He's got to control that defense. This is my fucking defense. And what you just pulled, not acceptable on my defense. That's what those guys have to be. And if he's not, you can't do that. You can't have that guy. Not in the position that we're in. And they weren't even looking to trade him. But when you get 2 firsts and 80 Mitchell, dude, you take that trade 7 days a week. Oh, Wyatt says, what is a spatchcock? Spatchcock, Wyatt, I'm surprised you don't know this, buddy, truly. Spatchcocking is a specific method in cooking poultry. Specifically, chickens, turkeys, right? So when you take out, what you do is you cut out the backbone. So, you got a big bird, a big turkey. It's got this big breast, right? The backbone, the wishbone, the breasts and everything. And then underneath is the legs and thighs and all that shit. So a turkey takes fucking 20 minutes a pound. So if you have 30-pound turkey, you're looking at 2 weeks to cook the damn thing. So when you spatchcock it, you cut out the spine and then you push it down. And then you take the wings and you fold them underneath. So that exposes everything. It pulls everything out and makes everything at an even layer. And it takes like an hour and a half to cook a 20-pound bird. Something like that, give or take, So that's spatchcocking, my friend. Thank you for watching Green Bean's cooking show, where we spatchcock every day. JJ checks back in. Thanks, Wyatt. Glad you asked, right? Why go through this world wondering? Ask the questions, everybody. Don't be afraid. Ask the questions. JJ says, I see it from the player's point, but a 20-year rebuild hasn't worked out. Well, it's not a 20-year rebuild. It's not. I know we can say it that way for us. Our experience has been a 20-year rebuild, but it's not been a 20-year rebuild. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji have not even been here for a year. That's the truth. I know we don't like to do that. It's just like when people were talking about firing Aaron Glenn week 3. That's called a traumatic response. It's PTSD, man. It's like it's like being married, right, JJ? You're married to a woman for 10 years, and then you find out that every time she was going to her sister's, and when her and her sister drove up to the Finger Lakes, every year when they went on that, she was actually going with Todd. Remember Todd last week? You find out that the whole time she's been married to you, that Todd from accounting has been her side piece, right? For 10 years. So you guys get a divorce and you're all beat up for a little while, but you go back into the ring and you meet this girl, Susan, let's call her. So Katie was banging Todd the whole time. Your wife, Katie, you loved her. You promised to God. You'd be like, hey, it's sickness and health, all the shit. And then you divorce Katie, the whore. Okay? And then you meet Susan, who would never in a million years consider sneaking around, much less with Todd. Todd's a scumbag. She knew that. She could sniff out Todd in a minute. So Susan is nothing but faithful. But every time she goes to the supermarket, you can't help it. You're following her. Every time she goes to work, whenever you say, how's your day? She goes, well, my boss, Evan, let's call him Evan. She said, Evan told you, who's Evan? What the fuck about it? I don't want to hear about it. And you give Susan, this good girl who's trying. She just got here. She don't know about Katie. She doesn't know about Todd. She's just trying to love you. She's going to help you build a new thing here. She wants to plant daffodils and daisies, man. But you won't let her. Because every time she goes out, you're afraid that Evan is going to pull a Todd. And you ruin the marriage because of Katie. So Katie's done more than ruin one marriage. She's ruined two. You see what I'm saying? This is definitely D-Watt. This is taking a fucking turn. I'm having difficulty keeping up with myself. That's the truth. I'm having difficulty following my own story. So hopefully I'm doing a good job for you guys. But in here, I'm like, wait, who the fuck is Todd? Evan? Why'd you bring Evan into the fucking mix, man? You got Katie, you got Todd, you got Evan and Susan. What happened to Mary? I'm like, I don't know. Mary left. Mary's my sister. What are you talking about? Right. Exactly right, boss girl. Susan's going to be like, what the... In 6 weeks, Susan's going to be like, you're damaged goods, man. First, boss girl, first Susan's going to try to comfort you. She's going to go, hey, man, relax. I understand you've been through shit. Just like Aaron Glenn said. Aaron Glenn said, guys, not only have you been through it, I went through some of it with you. I still want that damn game back in Denver. It bothers me. I'm with you guys. Give me a minute. He went to the same people that we have disdained. Rich Samini, Kaz, all these fucking losers, man. These media guys that have been pissing us off for years. Aaron Glenn sat down with them and said, hey, fuck off. Shut up. Why ask a stupid question? Shut up. I'm not telling you that. You ask me every Monday for the same shit. I already told you I'm telling you on Wednesday. And they keep going and then they write articles that are defaming, right? That are negative. And we buy it. And we start turning on Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's one of us. I don't know if he's going to be the guy or not. Told you, I like some things. I had no idea. I didn't want him. I didn't want another rookie defensive guy. Didn't want it for the reasons we're seeing, man. But we did it. So I can't pretend. I can't make Aaron Glenn into a Katie, man. Right now, he's a Susan. You understand? And Aaron Glenn, just like Susan, is trying to lay down with us at night. And he's trying to say, I hear you. I hear you. I know you're frustrated. I know you're upset, but trust me. Trust me. I'm working on it. I got it. I got you. You know what, D-Watt and everybody else, boss girl, I like what I've done here tonight. I like it. I think I pulled it off. That's what I think. I think I pulled it off. JJ says, in the Jets case, Susan has a kickstand. Well, that might be. A peg leg with a kickstand? Yeah, right, Jake? See? As the bean turns. Yeah, man. Look at the tank for ties. Katie and Todd are awful people. Right. Katie and Todd are Adam Gase and fucking Jamal Adams, man. I was depressed. You know, shit, man. We're depressed. You were supposed to help us. Till death do us part. You were supposed to love me. But instead, you're sneaking around. Remember Jamal Adams? Jamal Adams betrayed us. He went to Manish Mehta. And he gave him a tell-all interview. Adam Gase this and Dowell Loggins that, and nobody talks to me at halftime. Remember all the shit? You're supposed to be the fucking leader, man. The reason Mike McCagnon drafted a safety in the first round, 6 overall, who was a limited safety at that. He was good, make no mistake. He was a badass. Very physical, all the stuff. But Mike McCagnon, and I quote, Jamal Adams is a culture changer. And that's what we need. And Jamal Adams was sneaking around with Todd the whole time. Aaron Glenn, we got to give Aaron Glenn the chance to be a Susan. We can't tell him, hey, we're tired of your bullshit. We've been doing this for 20 years. He's like, I just got here. Guys. The first thing I had to do was get rid of the fucking guy who was throwing all the wide receivers under the bus. That the one guy that gives a shit about this team, Garrett Wilson, who's yelling and screaming and fucking fighting and clawing, he's pissing him off. The first task I had to do was get rid of him. I had to divorce him. And he took wide receiver 1, not DeAndre Hopkins. Fucking, come on, man. I can't believe Adams. Jeez. Jamal Adams. No, he took, the fuck's his name, man? I'm fried, dude. I am tired. Right? Jake says it's perfect. Joe Beningo's Katie. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Joe Beningo, you know what Joe Beningo is in that story? Joe Beningo is the crazy former sister-in-law, we could say brother-in-law, who always liked us. You know, he's like that's what he is in the story. He's the guy, I told you shouldn't have fucking about it. That's what he's doing. I told you. My sister can't be trusted. She's a trollop. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Wyatt checking back in. Except Woody Johnson is Todd and keep Woody. I forgot about Woody. Know what Woody is? This is what Woody is in my story. Woody is the overbearing mother that adds to our trauma. She's like the mother in The Wall, Pink Floyd. All right, we're going to have to cut that because it's going to spin out of control, and I'm going to ruin the fine work I've done here this morning or this evening. So it's, again, like this isn't a 20-year rebuild. I understand that it feels like that, but it's not. As a matter of fact, we had number 3 overall pick, Sam Darnold. That was a rebuild. That was Mike McCagnon. That was Todd Bowles. That was Sam Darnold. Then we had Joe Douglas, Zach Wilson, Robert Salah. And they did it. Dude, they were 7-3. Dude. We were 7-3 under Robert Salah. And Robert Salah was incapable of doing what was necessary as the players betrayed him, namely Zach Wilson, at that time, did not have the balls that Aaron Glenn has. Aaron Glenn, if he was 7-3, if Aaron Glenn is ever 7-3, 7-4, 7-5, 7-6, at 7-6, Aaron Glenn's benching somebody. Robert Salah, and he's probably cutting a few people. Robert Salah did not have the stones. He said, and that's 7 wins. You remember, we got some help, which is fine. That's what happens in the NFL. Let me tell you something, Grandizer. If we see Todd sniffing around Susan, that's when we go to jail. And we meet our new wife. His name is Tank. And he treats us well. And he protects us. And we get toilet wine every Friday night. That's how that goes. Who's this? Paris, what's up, dude? Good to see you, my friend. How does Aaron Glenn put together a good coaching staff with him being a rookie head coach, with Woody Johnson being the owner? Dude, that's going to be a tough fucking problem, isn't it? I don't know. I'm really hoping that, like, no matter what, dude, you can see that Aaron Glenn has learned. Remember the first 5 weeks or whatever it was, Aaron Glenn was having those freakouts before the half. Remember? That was a narrative for like 3 or 4 weeks. It was like Aaron Glenn before the half, he's making stupid decisions. We haven't heard about that in a month and a half because he learned. He figured it out. You can't play from a position of panic and fear. You can't do it. So I think with the Wilks thing, he's known Wilks long time, obviously respects him as a man. I don't know if they've worked together before. I don't think they have. So, it's like, look, all the time. You meet people, you're friends with people. You ever have a good friend? Have you ever done this? Like, you have a good friend, you've known him for a decade, more, whatever, and you guys are buddies. And then he needs a job, and you go, "Yeah, come here. We can hire you." You ever done this? I'm just getting out of it. As a matter of fact, where one of my partners had a complete. I found out a lot about him that I didn't know because I didn't know that version of him. So when you bring your friend on, you go, "Hey, my boss," you go, "Your boss needs somebody." And you go, "Hey man, I got this buddy. He'd be really good." And you bring him on and the first day he's fine. Then 2 days later, you're like, "Hey dude, you can't, my boss, he doesn't really like that. You gotta, oh, okay, no problem." Like, you can't be fucking smoking crack on the job. He doesn't like that, man. He doesn't like the crack thing. His ex-wife used to smoke crack with a guy named Mike. So, and then a week later, he's still fucking off, and your boss is like, "Hey, man, you're your guy. Yeah, I know. I'll help." And now you're in this position because you didn't know him that way. You didn't know that version of your friend, the work friend. Like, oh, now I know why he's losing jobs every 6 months. But he's always got a story. Well, then my boss is a complete asshole. Can you believe this is what he did? And you hear that, you go, "Wow, man, what a scumbag." And then if you ever got a chance to talk to the boss, you're like, "Did you realize that fucking guy robbed me? That guy stole all my screw guns. That guy took my truck, my work truck, out for the weekend and went to the Finger Lakes with some girl. I think she was married." Holy shit. So I don't know how he's going to do it, man, but I will say this. I like Engstrand, right? I like him. I feel like the running backs coach is good. I really hope through this whole process that he looks at, obviously he did with the defensive coordinator. We're getting a new one. I don't know what his name will be. Maybe it's Chris Harris. Maybe it's Jim Schwartz. Maybe it's Jim Leonard. I don't know. I hope it's somebody that's an improvement. And I hope we'll learn either Aaron Glenn's going to go for somebody who's an up-and-comer or he's going to go for another retread. But he might not want to go for a retread after Wilks, you know? Excuse me. It's cold in here. So what happens in the cold is you get like kind of, you know, cold stuff starts happening. You get runny nose, you know, that kind of thing. So, but the other thing that I'm really hoping, Paris, is that Aaron Glenn looks at the job his quarterback coach did. And he goes, look, it was a tough year, right? We had Justin Fields. And he had whatever go on. He was crying after Woody made fun of him. Like, it was a fucking tough year, man. But you can't, you get your emotions out of it. And you just look at it and you go, look, Justin Fields, we took a swing on him. We didn't know if it would work or not. That's why we gave him mid-tier money. We wanted to get him, but we didn't want to break the bank. Right? So we didn't, you know, whatever. So, but no matter how you slice it, as bad as Justin Fields may have been, as up and down and rocky as his previous NFL experience was, he had statistically and otherwise the worst career, the worst year in his career. So that, you got to factor that in. And then Tyrod Taylor comes in and he's whatever. He's Tyrod Taylor. He's 15 years. You're not going to old dog, new tricks. He just is what he is. So you didn't have to do much there. But then you look at Brady Cook, who you're supposed to be developing, and he throws 5 picks and has 2 fumbles in his first game and a half or whatever. You know? So my hope is that he just looks at him and goes, hey, I'm not going to put it all on you, but we're about to bring in a high pedigree young kid. And even if he's not, even if he's a mid-rounder, if he's Pavia in the 4th, you know, whatever, we're about to hitch our cart to a young, I need somebody that's been doing this. This is their skill set. Not somebody who goes, yeah, I can do that too. He's a running back and a running back's coach for the larger portion of his career, significantly larger. Hey, I can do quarterbacks. That's not going to cut it. So I hope that he's learned from all this, and Wilks isn't the only coach to go. And look, you can keep London if you want, but you got to bring in somebody that's the quarter. You make London the assistant quarterback coach or whatever. However, I don't give a shit what you call him. But the guy with the final say on the regimen and the protocols for the new quarterback has to be a quarterback coach. Somebody that's what they do. So that's all I would say. Hey, my buddy Ricky, what's up, man? Did you dig up the video of the 6'7" tight end? No, I didn't watch it. I responded to you. I got to watch it, Ricky. I'm sorry. I just didn't get to. It got swallowed is what happened. But is he the kid? Is he, let me see here. Is he Brett Norfleet from Missouri? Is that him? That kid's 6'6". That's what Rusty was telling me about earlier. I'm going to watch him later. I wrote him down. Hamza checking back in. In order for a rebuild to be successful, something at some time must be built. Right. When was the last time this was a solid team? I didn't say it was a competent. Right. Yeah. But still, like, we have to remember when we say something, like, our language matters. Like, don't get me wrong, JJ, I get it. I'm with you. Don't misunderstand me, please. But when our language matters because it sets the tone for our experience. The words we use to describe something matter. So you could say and be accurate, I can't believe we're on our 4th rebuild in 20 years or 5th for that, whatever. That's accurate. Saying it's a 20-year rebuild, the message that brings with it is that Aaron Glenn is part of the problem, and he's not. He might be, but he's not, particularly by game 3. When you saw it, the chorus, you might have been a big part of it. Dude, so many Jets fans, I got into arguments, and I was already called a Glenn defender. I'm like, dude, 2 months ago, I didn't even want the fucking guy. Well, how did I get to be a defender just because I don't want to fire him after week 3? I would just say things like, well, all right, well, who you bringing in week 3? Who's coming here after the Tampa game week 4? Who's going to be our coach? You know what I mean? Like ridiculousness. So because of that, it was like, you're a fucking Aaron Glenn homer. And I'm like, all right, man, I don't know what to say to some guys. I don't know what to say. I'm just like, look, Aaron Glenn just got here. Xavier Gibson, we told you not to. Well, number one, you got to understand that we can yell shit from the upper deck. Pass it. Like, we don't really have any impact. Like, we talk about it, we do this and all that. But, we told you not to. We knew. Of course we knew. We've been watching Xavier Gibson for 3 years. Aaron Glenn just got here. And in practice and in training camp, he said it. The guy's catching everything. He's fucking fast. And I'm going to give him a shot. By week 1, the chickens came home to roost, and he lost us that game. He had 2 fumbles that game. One was the deciding points. It flipped everything. It flipped the whole game, man. And we still fought back and got ahead of them. And it took a 60-yard field goal to beat us. But without that, dude, that game was a wrap. We started this season 1-0. Imagine that. Imagine the difference. So, again, and you can, JJ, and the other thing is, who the fuck am I on top of that, too? Like, make no mistake, I'm just giving you my 2 cents. I just happen to have a YouTube channel, but it's, you can feel any way you want. But since we're buds, it's like, again, it's what I don't want around here because, like, while we don't impact the player selections and all that, we definitely impact the environment, right? And when we're in the stands yelling shit at the sideline, like, fucking get out of here, fucking whatever. We're yelling shit at them. And, then the media's doing their thing because they don't like him because he's not giving them the answers that he's not Robert Salah calling them on the ride home. And, he's not Adam Gase used to call Rich Cimini on the way home. Did you know that? From games? They used to chit-chat. Like, Robert Salah's on the fucking phone with Joe Beningo and his toes all curled in the phone cord. Yeah, he's talking at night. He's on his bed. He's sitting like this with his little toes talking to Joe Beningo. And Joe Beningo, who's been a fan of the Jets for 50 years, said, are you fucking kidding me? I got the head coach telling me he's this and that, and he doesn't. And he just went on air and said, dude, you want to hear something? Robert Salah told me X, Y, and Z last night. And they were like, what? It's like, right? Like, he's a Jets fan first. Like, think about this. Just think about the ridiculousness of this. You have a Jets fan who's on the radio. He's a loudmouth. He's boisterous. He's fucking aggressive. He's Joe Beningo. He's been here miserable like us for 50 years. And then you have the guy who's in charge of the team calling you and telling you, I don't remember exactly, but it was like ridiculous stuff. Like about how hard it is, or, he's giving you, this guy's not good, or whatever. And you're a fan and you're thinking, well, this guy's been here for 2 years. Who the fuck is he? Why is my loyalty to this guy? This guy's the one guy that can actually make me enjoy my Sundays, and he's complaining to me. I'm not going to talk about it. You know what I mean? And then Robert Salah goes back to soft San Francisco. They give him a whole draft to support his defense. And he's like, yo, I'm so much happier here. The New York stole my joy. Yeah, you didn't belong here in the first place, brother. You didn't belong here. It's okay. You're a good man and all that shit. Nobody's saying otherwise. But dude, fucking we stole your joy. What did we steal from you? You stole from us. You were 7-3, dude. You couldn't win one more game and get us into the playoffs? You couldn't win 2 more and get us our first winning record since 2015? You couldn't do that? You couldn't win one more? No. So, I tell you, if Glenn just spatchcocks this joint, cut out the spine, press us down, and get us in the oven, man. You know what I mean? So, Ricky, I'll watch that video, though. I will. Because I do appreciate you sending that stuff. So I'm sorry. Wyatt says, Glenn has the toughest job in professional sports. Dude, I don't think otherwise. I'm telling you, I agree 100%. Whenever people talk about it's tough to play in New York, I agree. But this team is the toughest place to play in New York, without question. We're not the Giants. This isn't the Giants. The Giants are just getting a taste of what we've been experiencing for our entire existence. Dante says the way some fans react, it makes it seem like they want this team to consistently lose so they have something to complain about. Look, this is not untrue, but I also, because I'm a therapist, a counselor at heart, I also understand where that shit comes from. I think you're right. Like, look, I used to do this, right? Even with staff. Let me tell you a short little thing. I've done this a dozen times with people, right? So I have people that I'm the director, so they complain to me, right? And whatever. So I would always say things like, I want you to know my door is open. And then my door was actually open. For most of the day, unless I was in a meeting, I would have my door open. So people could come in and whatever. So people were complaining. They go, hey, this is bullshit. So I'd go, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. And I appreciate you telling me. And then I'd fix it. And then they complain again. So if this happens a little while over the course of a year or whatever, I would have this sit down. And I've done this at least a dozen times with people. I would remind them that they had this issue, they had that issue, and then this issue. And I took them off the table for them. So those issues no longer exist. And I would ask them, where is the value for you? And I want you to explore this. And I want you to come back to me with an answer. Not now. I don't want you to answer right now. I want you to think about this. I would say this. Where is the value? Is the value in actually fixing the problem so we can do our job and become successful and really impactful in the job that we're doing? Or is the value for you having something to complain about? And then there's myriad reasons why that can come into play. And I would talk to the individual specifically about what I saw with them. I can't tell you, dude, Like you would think that people go, fuck you, man. But dude, it's all about the presentation. I've had people come back to me, therapists, psychiatrists. One guy in particular I'm thinking of was a exceptional 35-year psychologist, exceptional. Came back to me. I had that sit down with him, and he came to me and he said, you know what? I want to thank you for pointing this out to me. I didn't even realize how jaded I've become. He was tired. And he said he realized, it was like over a weekend or whatever. He came back to me and we had a great conversation. He told me the value was absolutely in having the complaint. And the reason was because it gave him a perch. It gave him a position of righteous kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll say superiority. That wasn't the word he used, but it gave him a position of, better than. Fucking crazy. So the thing is with that stuff, when you're beat up, like we're beat up, it becomes what we're used to. So the devil, right? Like I say it all the time. I have no idea how I would handle winning the Super Bowl. I have no fucking idea. I have no idea how I'd handle getting into the Super Bowl. I think it'd be good. I think it'd be fun, but I don't know. Like I was saying earlier in the stream, we've never agreed on anything. You get a touchdown, and there are Jets fans that will complain about it. It's the truth. Now, I don't think down on those. Sometimes I do. Piss me off. You know what I mean? But overall, it's like, dude, we're damaged goods. We have been traumatized. This fucking team. It's like the most ridiculous shit you've ever heard. Everything. I mean, whenever team, I love my favorite conversation is when people tell me, oh yeah, try being a fucking Bills fan or try being a Bears fan. I'm like, oh, sit down. Let's do this. You want to do it? So you got it. You have 30 minutes. I'm going to fucking tear you a new ass in the middle of your fucking face. Let's go. You're going to be called ass face when we walk out of this combo. So I don't think that we know how much we've come to enjoy our misery. We don't think we like it. We're pissed all the time. But when you fix it, where's the value? I don't want it fixed. You know what else? I'll give you another example. When people would come to my rehab, right? So I talked to this mother. Oh, my daughter, blah, 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 blah. She's this and that. I'm dying. I want her to see her get well. And I can't tell you how many fucking times. Soon as the kid goes back home, we get him clean. I got him for 90 days. They went through my rehab. They went through my halfway house. I got him a job. They were down with me for 90 days. And then they go home and they visit mother. And what does mother have on the table? A bottle of wine. Why? Because the mother doesn't even realize it. She's grown to be more comfortable with that role, with that dynamic of the daughter needing her. You see? I've seen that 1,000 times, man. And I would always try to talk to parents about, hey, be careful, with this and that. And oh, never. It's my daughter. Of course you love your daughter. I'm not saying that. But it's like we become comfortable with these dynamics. And Jets fans, dude, we're fucked up. You know what I mean? Dude, there are times that I watch it. I swear I have this conversation in my head. Like, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? And then I go right from there and I'm like looking online and there's a fucking jersey. I'm like, ooh, Then Aunt Gina will buy me a new Jet shirt or something. I'm like, new hat. Bang Mateo, what's up? Rayola is being linked to Oregon. Will Moore declare? Oh, I don't know, man. I think he's going to. If I just had to guess, I think he's going to be in this draft. I think he'll be eligible. That's what I think. But you and me both, Bang Mateo. What do we know? You know? I think it's like he's guaranteed right now. If he declares, he's going to be guaranteed a top 5 pick in the draft. That is guaranteed. What, 20, 30 million, whatever it is? Guaranteed. No matter what his career is, all he's got to do is declare, sign the contract, get a financial advisor, and just he literally, no matter what happens, he could tear his knee and never play a snap after training camp. And he would never, ever have to work again. So I don't know. I think once it gets up there, once you're guaranteed to be that top of the first round, I don't think there's, I think it's a fool's errand to go back. That's what I think. But I'm not in their shoes. I didn't even go to college. So what the fuck do I know? It's one of my life regrets, man. It's one of my big regrets. My son just got accepted to 2 schools. Like Teen Bean, he's out there, dude. It's crazy. Just got accepted to 2 of the 4 schools that he applied to. He's fucking knocking it out of the park. Lead singer of a band, but he's going to college. And we got the fund. So his whole life, that fund's been accruing. So he's going. He's going to be going to school. He's going to have the whole college experience. I'm so happy for him. You know? So even if they're not for the degree, which I do think is valuable, trust me, I've been in a hiring manager for a long time. Degrees are important. But just the experience. It's one of my life's biggest regrets that I don't have that experience. I didn't do that. I regret it. But I did smoke a lot of crack. So there's that. Not everybody can say that, right? I smoked a lot of crack. I think if you collected all the crack rocks that I smoked, I think I could make like a love seat of crack and sit there. Does that mean anything? Is that worth anything? I don't know. Probably a nice, comfy, lazy boy out of crack. That's how much I smoked. Oof, God. Gives me shudder. I shudder. Crack's the worst. Anyway, Dante, what's up, buddy? And then I'm going to get out of here. It's been an hour and a half. I'm not seeing the Jets fans, or maybe saying Jets fans don't have the right to be upset, but I felt calling for AG's job in week 3 and saying he wasn't it particularly frustrating. It was. It was. And at least I have this platform that I could vent, you know? And I was happy for that, Dante. And I have the Talking Jets panel. I was getting into fights with guys and everything. But at the end of the day, the reason that we're doing that is because we are taking Aaron Glenn and bringing him into the 20-year rebuild that JJ was talking about earlier. And like when we look at it through that lens, because we are tired and we have every fucking right to be, dude. Now, Woody, he deserves the ire because he's been here. It's his watch. Since he's owned this team, he literally rode. Parcells was hired. He was the last hire by Leon Hess. And Parcells stayed for a couple of years, set us off. He made sure our ship was stocked. It had all the sails, it had the crew, it had we had the provisions, and he shoved us off into the ocean. Said, it's all I can help you with. Now you got to figure it out. And we rode that for a little while, and slowly but surely it eroded. And think about this. The last holdover from the Parcells era was Mike Tannenbaum. When we let Mike Tannenbaum go, we have not like, I just fucking fried out. I completely lost my train of thought. We've not rebounded. And the oddest thing about it is the craziest piece is that after all this, we fired Mike Tannenbaum. That was the end of the Parcells impact. He built 2 AFC championship teams, brought in Rex Ryan. We had all the excitement, all the hoopla. We fired him, and we've had 15 years of complete and utter nonsense. And then we called Mike Tannenbaum back. And he's just called the 33rd team now. We called him back, which, by the way, Adam Gase is an employee for the 33rd team. I don't know if you knew that. Isn't that fun? So we called the last Parcellian. We called him and said, please help us. And what did he do? He went to a Parcells disciple, Aaron Glenn, and brought him in here. And Jets fans wanted him gone in 3 days. 3 games. So that's why I'm on board, man. It's not you know why, but that's one of the things. Like, I'm looking at this from a global vantage point. Like, dude, we're trying to we're trying to retcon the last 15 years. We're trying to retcon it and go back. We went back to Mike Tannenbaum and we pulled in a player who was a part of that era, who in the meantime has been a scout, coached with Sean Payton, and what's his name up there in Detroit? Dan something. I want to say McDowell. That's not it. McGovern? Geesh. The coach for Campbell. McGovern. So you know what I mean? So there's possibility and potential here if we just cut it out, take a second and realize Aaron Glenn is not the bad man. Aaron Glenn is Susan. Aaron Glenn's trying to lay down with us and go, dude, I know you've been hurt, but you can trust me. I brought in Steve Wilks. It's like she went to the restaurant that we didn't like. She didn't know we didn't like it. She brought it in. It was a bad meal. She, don't worry about it. I won't do that again. Steve Wilks is gone. Alan Lazard, I didn't bring him in here. I watched him play. He's 6'5", supposed to be able to catch. Can't do it. He's fucking gone. Don't worry about it. Xavier Gibson, yep, you guys told me he sucked. I wanted to see myself. 1 game, he's gone. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You guys regret the contract to Michael Carter. Don't worry about it. I took care of it. Give me a minute. I'm working on it. You know what I mean? Give me a minute. I just got us 5 firsts. Jesus. 5 firsts and 3 second-round picks. Trust me. I know what I'm doing. Just give me a minute. All right? So there you go. Don't be a Katie. Don't be a Todd. Don't be a Todd. That was funny last week when I was talking about Todd. Todd chimed in. There was a Todd in the chat. That was fucking funny. But anyway, Todd is hypothetical. Don't go looking for Todds and going, hey, you shouldn't have messed with Katie. But all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all for hanging out. It's midnight. I'm done. You like that? Jeremy Moore, at least you heard it. Infrared heard it. There you go. I appreciate you guys. So that's going to do it. Oh, Mumtaz checks in. All right, this is the last one. If you guys put in a super chat, I'm not going to read it. I got to go to bed, man. I got to work. Hey, Eric Craig. Good night to you, my friend. So our good buddy Mumtaz checking in. Says, Greenby, we have to lose the game in New Orleans if we want to have a real chance. I'm with you, man. And the only thing that concerns me about the Wilks firing, I'm with it 98%. The 2% is, couldn't it have been any other game? Not the one game with the most bang for the buck. We lose this game and things flip. We win it, and it mucks up the works. So I'm with you, buddy. I really am. It's the worst time for the defense to be revitalized. Chris Harris going to be all fired up. 3-game audition, man. You know what I mean? But maybe we just don't have the horses in there. Get Tyler Shock's on fire. I don't know. We'll see. Now, the only reason I'm going to read this is because he asked me not to, and I'm defiant by nature. So there you go, Dano. I love you, buddy. Everybody else, thank you. Have a great night. What am I going to play? I'm running out of clips. I've been playing all my clips. What's this one? I don't even know what this is. I hope it's too long. 2 minutes. Jesus. Let's see this one. Have a good night, everybody. See you next time. Oh, that's not it. I can't do that. I'm just going to get out of here. Good night.